an article I was reading about how growing up poor and stressed impacts brain function as an adult. This comes out of the University of Illinois at Chicago this week. But basically, I'll sum it up. The article says, which a lot of people might kind of think already, that having this gross inequality makes it hard for people to develop correctly, to where their brain functions at full mode when they're adults. When you're under this kind of stress,
Oh yeah,
good food.
I remember seeing that study like that.
Mom and dad are arguing about money all the time.
Definitely hurts you.
Yeah, so these CEOs lead to the destruction of brains in America because, when we have a finite economy that is based on infinite growth, somewhere in the mix, someone's going to have to take a cut, and the poor in this country have been cut. We've, you live in Michigan, I live in Ohio. You've seen the destruction of the manufacturing base of the Midwest, and people are just hustling all over the place trying to make a living out of the kind of shambles of the former industrialization.
And of course, everybody knows too that when you have children that are underfed, right? They don't do well in school. They don't do as well as kids who have the proper resources, right? So they go into school and they're hungry and they're not going to be able to perform up to the level of, say, a kid from a middle class family, and automatically that happens to destroy your chances. I mean, if you can't learn things because you're constantly hungry, how are you going to go out there and compete? Are you going to be able to get a college degree? Most likely, probably not. And there are exceptions, of course, to everything. But most likely, you're not going to perform as well, and you're not going to have as well of a chance climbing that economic ladder and being able to make something of yourself. So, I mean, just that level of rampant wealth inequality, that hurts people, like you were saying. It
actually does. Physically, it ends up hurting millions of people, making their lives really tough. I'm not against someone being rewarded for hard work.
Oh, of course not.
When you're talking about making 300 times more than your average worker, it's impossible for anyone to be that valuable as a person, because really they're just making decisions. They're not actually doing any of the work. They're the deciders. And if they make good ones, they make a lot of money. If they make poor ones, they might get sacked.
Right, and you know what? It would actually be an improvement if we were at 300. According to CEO pay ratio compared to the worker pay, it'd actually be a lot better if we were at 300. But we're talking like we're at over 1,000 times. The rate of pay of CEOs compared to regular workers is thousands of times higher, and that. You're right. Nobody's worth that. I'm sorry. You're not worth thousands of times more than the workers who work for you. Maybe, look, I'd be happy with something like 100 or 50 even. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a lot more in line. Because, if you make a successful company and you put in all that work and you put in all that time and you make good decisions and you play, you're smart, you play the market, you're savvy. All that, you should get a reward, obviously, of course, and you should be able to buy the most premium stuff that you want. That's fine. That's great, but you should also pay your workers so that they can get decent stuff. Yeah, they can't get top-notch, but that's fine. They're not asking for top-notch. They're asking for something to live on, and to not be poor and destitute and reliant on government services.
Yeah, it's a national tragedy, to say the least. It really, and I think you really have to put it in terms like, this rampant inequality leads to so many having so few that they're physically, emotionally, psychologically, they're not all damaged, but a lot of people, it leads to that. Growing up in the hood. I've lived in some hoods. It's not easy, and people do what they need to get by because when you're scraping from paycheck to paycheck, The only thing you're thinking about is getting that next paycheck and that next payment. And a lot of the times, these people are surrounded by predatory industries.
And it's
And
so easy to fall behind, too. It's
Sure.
so easy to, like, one injury, you know, one illness away, and you're buried. You're hosed. That's it. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, it's absolutely predatory. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share with your friends. If you want to see more, go to our channel at youtube.com/TYTNation. And if you really want to support the show, support this channel, go to our fundraising campaign at www.patreon.com/TYTNation. The website is in the description below. Thank you guys, and keep watching.